Everywhere you go in Asia, from Tokyo to Bangkok, you'll find one country consistently praised for their English fluency and quick learning: the Philippines. That's not just a random compliment. It's a reality that's sparking one of the most viral debates online right now. Are Filipinos the smartest English speakers in Asia today? From call centers in Manila to classrooms in Cebu. And even on TikTok and YouTube, the Filipino command of English constantly shocks foreigners and international recruiters alike. You'll see vloggers saying, "I can't believe how natural Filipinos sound," or recruiters saying, "We prefer hiring Filipinos because they just get it." But here's where the conversation gets deeper and more complex. Does being fluent in English actually mean you're more intelligent? While many point to the Philippines' fluency as proof of intelligence, others argue that intelligence isn't defined by language alone. It's about how you think, solve problems, and adapt to challenges. Across Asia, countries like Japan, Korea, and China are investing billions into English education and global communication. Yet many still struggle to match Filipino naturalness in speech and tone. So, what exactly makes the Philippines different from its neighbors? Is it their culture of communication and openness to conversation? Their Western-influenced education system and media exposure? Or something deeper, a kind of social intelligence that blends understanding, empathy, and confidence in real time? This video will dive into the truth behind the fluency, how Filipinos mastered English so well, how it connects to intelligence, and what it reveals about the country's place in Asia's future and global leadership. Is English fluency proof of intelligence? Or is there more to what makes Filipinos stand out in Asia? Let's find out. Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. Because what you'll learn about Filipinos, language, and intelligence might just change the way you see Asia forever. Why Filipinos speak English so well? To understand the connection between Filipinos, English, and intelligence, we first need to understand why the Philippines speaks English so fluently. Unlike many parts of Asia, the Philippines didn't just learn English, it became part of their national identity and daily life. English is one of the two official languages of the country, used in government, media, education, and even casual conversation. From the first day of school, children are taught science, math, and even history in English, not just as a subject, but as the medium through which the country communicates with the world. That early exposure matters more than most people realize. While many Asian students start learning English later in life through textbooks, grammar drills, and test prep, Filipino kids grow up watching English TV shows, reading English books, and even thinking in English. The result? A generation that doesn't just know English, they live it, breathe it, and use it naturally. There's also a cultural openness that plays a huge role. Filipinos are naturally social, curious, and expressive by nature. This personality type translates perfectly into language learning and fluency. Speaking English isn't treated as a sign of superiority. It's simply a skill used to connect, joke, tell stories, and build relationships. That human element makes their fluency sound natural, not mechanical. It's not just about grammar. It's about rhythm, tone, and emotion. But it's not just about culture or personality traits. The Philippines' history shaped its relationship with English deeply. Decades of American influence during the early 20th century brought not just the language, but also Western education systems, pop culture, and business communication styles into Filipino society. English became not a foreign tongue, but a tool of opportunity. That connection still exists today in powerful ways, whether it's working for global companies, freelancing online, or teaching English to others around the world. Filipinos didn't just learn English, they localized it. They made it their own, blending it with Filipino expressions, humor, and cultural references to create a unique voice. You'll hear English spoken with warmth, wit, and confidence, not just correctness. That's what sets it apart. Even in rural areas, English is often understood and used, especially in media, education, and digital platforms. This widespread exposure creates a national comfort with the language. It's not limited to elites or urban professionals. It's part of everyday life for millions of Filipinos. And that's why their fluency feels so authentic and accessible. It's not forced, it's familiar. In a sense, Filipinos didn't just learn English. They owned it, adapted it, and used it to reach global opportunities. They turned a colonial legacy into a competitive advantage. And today, that advantage is helping them lead in global communication, remote work, education, and cross-cultural collaboration. English isn't just a language in the Philippines. It's a bridge to the world, and Filipinos walk it with ease. English and intelligence, the real connection. Now, let's tackle the big question head-on. Does speaking English fluently mean you're more intelligent? The short answer, not exactly. But in the case of the Philippines, English fluency does reveal something deeper about the kind of intelligence that matters most in today's globalized world. We're talking about adaptability, comprehension, and communication. Language is more than words. It's a reflection of how people think, process ideas, and interact with others. The ability to switch between Filipino, English, and sometimes regional dialects like Cebuano or Ilocano shows mental flexibility, what psychologists call cognitive adaptability. This kind of skill is directly linked to problem-solving and creativity. It's not just about memorizing vocabulary. It's about navigating meaning, tone, and context. When Filipinos use English naturally, they're not just repeating grammar rules. They're interpreting emotion, humor, and nuance. That's social intelligence, something even advanced learners struggle to master. It's the reason foreign vloggers are often shocked when they have deep, witty, or emotional conversations in English with locals. It feels effortless and human. Filipinos don't just speak English, they perform it. They use it to connect, persuade, entertain, and empathize. At the same time, fluency in English has given Filipinos access to global education, jobs, and information that many others in Asia find hard to reach. Whether it's remote work, studying abroad, or creating global content, English acts as a passport to opportunity. It doesn't define intelligence, but it amplifies it. It gives people the tools to express and apply their ideas globally. So yes, English fluency doesn't make you intelligent, but it can reveal a kind of practical intelligence that's invaluable in the 21st century. The ability to learn fast, communicate clearly, and adapt across cultures is a superpower today. And that's something Filipinos have mastered better than most. Their intelligence isn't just academic. It's emotional, social, and strategic. They know how to read the room, shift tone, and make others feel understood, all in English. That's not just fluency. That's fluency with empathy. And in a world where connection matters more than credentials, that kind of intelligence is priceless. Filipinos prove that language isn't just about grammar. It's about humanity, and they speak both fluently. Comparing the rest of Asia. To really understand how unique the Philippines is, let's compare it to other major Asian countries: Japan, South Korea, China, and even India. Each of these nations has invested heavily in English education, but the outcomes and cultural attitudes vary dramatically. In Japan and South Korea, the focus on English is huge. Billions of dollars go into language schools, test prep, and foreign tutors. Parents spend fortunes on cram schools and private lessons, hoping their children will master English for exams and careers. But most learning is exam-based, not conversation-based. Students memorize grammar and vocabulary for standardized tests, but rarely use English outside the classroom or in daily life. As a result, confidence stays low and fluency remains limited. Many can read English, but few can speak it naturally or comfortably. There's a fear of making mistakes, of sounding awkward or incorrect. This fear creates hesitation, which blocks real-world communication. China faces a similar issue, but on a massive scale. With over 1 billion people, there's incredible investment in English education. Schools teach English from an early age, and urban families often hire private tutors or send kids abroad. But cultural and social barriers often stop people from speaking freely. The fear of losing face or sounding imperfect holds many back. In contrast, Filipinos embrace mistakes as part of the process. They speak, learn, and laugh about it, without shame or hesitation. That confidence is what sets them apart from their regional peers. Filipinos treat English as a living language, not a test subject. Now let's look at India, another English-speaking powerhouse. India's education system also uses English widely and effectively. Many Indian professionals dominate global sectors like IT, medicine, and finance. English is the language of higher education, business, and government. But here's the difference. In India, English fluency is often tied to social class and education level. It's more common among urban elites and private school graduates, in rural areas or among lower-income groups. English fluency can be rare or heavily accented. In the Philippines, it cuts across all levels of society. A farmer, a student, a nurse, or a CEO, all can speak some level of English comfortably and confidently. It's a shared language, not an elite one or status symbol. That inclusiveness gives the Philippines a cultural advantage. When everyone can communicate in a common language, ideas spread faster, collaboration becomes easier, and creativity flourishes. This is why international companies prefer hiring Filipino teams. They're not just skilled, they communicate seamlessly across borders. They understand tone, nuance, and cultural context in English. They can work with Americans, Europeans, and Asians without needing translation or cultural mediation. That's a huge asset in today's globalized economy. In contrast, many Asian countries still struggle to build workforces that are both technically skilled and communicatively fluent. Language remains a barrier to collaboration, innovation, and leadership. Filipinos break that barrier with ease and authenticity. They don't just speak English, they connect through it. Even in entertainment and media, the difference is clear. Filipino YouTubers, TikTok creators, and influencers often produce content in fluent English for global audiences. They're relatable, expressive, and culturally agile. Meanwhile, creators in other Asian countries often stick to local languages or struggle with translation. This limits their reach and global impact. The Philippines' unique blend of history, culture, and education has created a population that's not just bilingual, but globally fluent in mindset and communication. They don't treat English as foreign, they treat it as familiar. And that familiarity translates into confidence, creativity, and opportunity. So when we compare the Philippines to the rest of Asia, we're not just comparing language skills, we're comparing cultural attitudes, educational systems, and social dynamics. And in that comparison, the Philippines stands out as a model of inclusive, practical, and human-centered fluency. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. And that's what makes Filipino English speakers truly exceptional. The future of Filipino intelligence. Looking ahead, the Philippines is in a powerful position globally, with industries shifting toward digital work and remote collaboration. English proficiency gives Filipinos a front-row seat in the new economy. They're not just participating, they're shaping the future of work. From online freelancing to international startups and remote teams, Filipino workers are no longer just following instructions or scripts. They're leading projects, teaching others, and creating content that resonates globally. Their ability to merge Asian values with Western communication styles makes them bridge builders in today's multicultural workplace. They understand nuance, tone, and cultural sensitivity, skills that are increasingly vital in global collaboration. The next generation of Filipinos is even more globally aware. They're not just fluent, they're using English creatively and strategically. From running global YouTube channels to writing international books to building tech startups that serve English-speaking markets, Filipinos are turning language into leadership. English has evolved from a colonial language to a competitive advantage. It now reflects intelligence, adaptability, and creativity all at once. Filipino youth are growing up with access to global platforms, and they're using them to express ideas, build businesses, and influence culture. They're not just consuming global content, they're creating it. So when people say, Filipinos speak the best English in Asia, they're not just talking about accent, grammar, or vocabulary. They're recognizing a deeper truth about modern intelligence. Intelligence today isn't measured by test scores or degrees. It's measured by how well you understand, connect, and innovate across cultures. And in that sense, the Philippines might just be Asia's smartest communicator. They've mastered not just the mechanics of English, but the mindset that makes it meaningful in a global world. That's the future of Filipino intelligence, not just fluency, but influence. At the end of the day, the debate isn't really about whether Filipinos are the smartest English speakers in Asia. It's about how they've used language as a tool to unlock opportunity, elevate their global presence, and shape their future. English in the Philippines has become more than communication. It's empowerment, mobility, and a gateway to leadership. It's a bridge to global respect, digital fluency, and economic resilience. Filipinos didn't just adopt English, they adapted it, infused it with warmth, humor, and cultural depth. They turned a colonial legacy into a competitive advantage. And now, they're using it to lead in remote work, global education, content creation, and international collaboration. From call centers to classrooms, from TikTok to tech startups, Filipinos are proving that language is power, and they know how to use it wisely. The rest of Asia is catching up, fast, but the Filipino example proves something powerful and lasting. When a nation values education, adaptability, and confidence in communication, it can compete with anyone in the world and win. Filipinos didn't just memorize grammar, they mastered connection. They didn't just pass exams, they built careers, communities, and global trust. They've shown that intelligence isn't just academic, it's relational, creative, and deeply human. English gave Filipinos a voice on the world stage, but it's their heart, humor, and humility that made it resonate. They've become global communicators, not just fluent speakers. So next time someone says English fluency doesn't matter, remember this. It's not about the language itself. It's about the mindset it builds, curiosity, confidence, and connection. It's about the ability to understand, express, and innovate across cultures. And in that sense, the Philippines isn't just fluent. It's future-ready, globally relevant, and emotionally intelligent. They've turned language into leadership and fluency into influence. Filipinos didn't just learn English. They used it to show the world what smart really looks like. If this message resonated with you, don't scroll away. Hit like to support stories that challenge stereotypes. Subscribe for more deep dives into language, culture, and global intelligence. Drop a comment. What surprised you most about Filipino fluency? Your voice could be featured in the next episode. Thanks for watching. And remember, language isn't just what you speak, it's how you lead. And the Philippines is leading with clarity, creativity, and connection. Stay curious, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one.